12 rounds, ding ding. Sick and tired of the whole damn thing, yeah. Stick a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. Be lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, 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 no. Got the belt like a king. Heavyweight champion of the whole damn thing, yo. Full of gas, full of spin. Jekyll and Hyde, you're the evil twin. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, you're never gonna. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. Be lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, 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 no.
What's up? It's Nick and John in the house. SCMP MMA, South China Morning Post. What's going on, John? Do you like the new music?
Of course,
the same
man.
old
That's,
music, but
I'm
longer.
gigging on that. I'm loving it, man. That thing, it bumps. 90s slang, it bumps. You know, it bumps. I like it. It's I think it's the best song, like for like any show in MMA. We've probably heard many of them, many intros, but that thing is actually sounds really professional. Like I don't even know who the singers are, who they are who made the song, but they sound legit.
That's some commercial rights-free music that the SCMP has the rights to. Keep Me Down. I can't remember the name of the author, but I get a few. You see it on YouTube, yeah? We get the comments saying, "Oh, what's the song, guys? Tell me." And I send them the link.
Okay.
Trying to get a nice little intro made there. That's a little taste, John. You just had a taste. Are you hungry for more?
Of course, I'm
You're hungry. I know
hungry,
you
man. My stomach is like
Hungry like the wolf.
not full at all, and it's just more of like what's to come for SCMP, South China Morning Post. There's more and more and more. Our bellies are not full. We're hungry.
Absolutely. It's a good night. I got a little jar of Spanish gherkins here.
What is that? Is
Oh,
that
man,
baby
it's,
food?
it's delicious, like baby gherkins. Yeah, literally called Delicious. The brand.
What is it? Pickles?
Yeah, like tiny pickles.
Oh, okay.
It's absolutely scrumptious.
They look like
There you
small jalapenos. Oh, they're crunchy too. I heard
they're
that.
crunchy. Yeah, you heard that.
I like the crunch. I don't like the soggy. I don't like the crunch. Okay. If you got the soggy, if I'm at your house and if you got soggy pickles, throw them in the trash. Get the crunchies. Just like my peanut butter. I like it crunched.
Now I know now.
All right.
No, I'm glad you told me. I won't be serving you soggy.
I'll throw your pickles out the window.
Well, look,
your neighbor on the floor below is gonna be covered in pickle juice. That's what's gonna happen.
There's just the road out the windows, man. You can throw what you want.
Yeah, then someone's car is gonna be covered in pickle juice. And
well, look, you wouldn't be the first person to throw something out of a window in Hong Kong. It's a very common practice. But look, all right, Christopher Edwards Bailey in the comments saying, "Hey guys, hey Chris, what's up?
What's up, Chris?
Come join us, Chris. You can't hack it." There you go. He's making dinner, he told me. Too busy eating like a human being.
He's like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I'm
Chef Chris. Yeah.
Just with better hair.
Well, the reason we're here, because we got a few big fight announcements today. Ben Askren, Jake Paul, Darren Till, Marvin Vettori, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. It was quite a busy day, wasn't it, John? Where should we start? I guess Askren, Jake Paul.
Yeah, we discussed this like a month ago or so, maybe 2 months ago when they first started.
It went quiet, didn't it? And then
it went quiet. Yeah, it got quiet. I feel like they got quiet because of the whole Conor McGregor storm that was coming. They didn't want to compete with that. So what they did is they shut it down for a couple weeks. And then right after Conor gets knocked out, his fight's over. Now the media campaign is on, and it starts with Ariel Helwani. He breaks the news for ESPN, and then voila, he has an interview with Ben Askren and Jake Paul just instantly. And that's how you do it, man. You got to give respect to Ariel Helwani for that, right? If you're in that position, that's how you do it. He's just showing you the blueprint of like perfection. You know what I mean? I'm not like the biggest Ariel Helwani fan, but man, you got to respect that guy. He just did it perfectly. You couldn't even write it any better, you know what I mean, to promote something and to kind of push yourself out there. Because I think Ariel was involved with the media day for Tyson versus Jones, right? Wasn't he the moderator for that?
You know, I didn't even watch that show, that pay-per-view. I didn't really pay attention to the build-up. I'm not shitting on it or saying I'm better than it or above it. Just genuinely missed it. It was quite a busy time then for me. A lot of shit was going on, so I didn't see anything around it. Yeah, you'll have to tell me, John.
Yeah, well, but the press conference, right, that they had before, in the lead up to the Tyson Jones fight. Ariel Helwani was the moderator for the press conference, so he was involved in it, man.
Yeah.
And he was moderating, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but I know that he was involved, and now he's getting involved in this whole fiasco, this whole I don't even know what to call it. It's a boxing match, but it's weird because you got a retired MMA fighter, a decorated wrestler, but that was many years ago, against a young YouTuber / celebrity / influencer turned boxer. Like, what are we living in? Total Recall? I don't even know. Like, it is so weird, right? Like, could you, if you're gonna go back 20 years and explain this to somebody during the 90s, like this is gonna happen, they'd slap you in the face and spit in your mouth, man. Like, what is it? Like, what are they doing? It's weird. It's just odd.
Well, let's look at Ben Askren. I was showing you this clip before we went on the air. Oh, wait, I gotta press. I always do this, man, every time. I need to. StreamYard, if you're listening, you need to instigate some kind of automatic sound sharing thing because I always miss. There's a little tiny box in the bottom left where you have to share the audio.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, here you go.
All right, let's see.
Work, baby. Jake, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to wish that soy boy Dylan Dennis signed the contract.
That's classic Ben Askren.
What is a soy boy, anyways?
Soy boy is so basically it's like a beta male because you drink soy milk, which they associate with being like a snowflake or a liberal. I think this is like the thing in America now.
Oh, it's an insult. Like is he insulting everybody that drinks soy?
You're like a beta male kind of. You're not an alpha male. You're a snowflake liberal. I think that's it. Someone fill us in the comments. The Blue Dash here saying, "Hey guys, never caught you guys live before." Well, here we are. Hope you enjoyed the Blue Dash.
Blue Dash, is that an app? It sounds like an app, like for like food delivery. Let me know, Blue Dash.
Well, Blue Dash is here again saying Jake Paul versus Ben Askren is such a weird fight. I don't want to say this, but with footage we have, Jake Paul will probably outstrike him. He has legitimate boxing skills, even if it's not high level, and Ben Askren's striking is just not very good. Yeah, John, we've all seen these videos. We saw Ben Askren against Damian Maia, those spinning
the beautiful twirls. The beautiful twirls. Yeah, the twirls that Ben Askren. Man, Ben Askren, you got to look at him realistically, right? He's coming off, I believe he's coming off like double hip surgery.
Yeah.
Am I right? Double hip surgery. And his body is, his body has felt the years and years of just trauma from like wrestling to MMA. And wrestling and MMA is probably the most taxing combat sports that that your body can, you could put your body through. And I feel like Jake Paul is picking the right guy to fight. You know what I mean? A guy that is not known for his striking, a guy that just coming off the surgery table, a guy that is just his body is basically ruined from 2 combat sports. And it's just almost picture perfect for Jake Paul to build his name off of Ben Askren. And when we just saw the video, right, of Ben Askren, looks like he's starting his training camp for the boxing match, and he is huffing and puffing, right? That was kind of a odd video, you know, like. But one thing good, and I think Jake Paul, he knows this too, and the promoters know this, is that Ben Askren is the perfect guy to go back and forth with Jake Paul. The perfect guy. You know, there's Dylan Dennis, of course, but I don't think he has the skills to make this build up the most entertaining build up to a fight ever. Jake Paul and Ben Askren are going to be making clips. They're going to be making skits. They're going to be making all kinds of videos that everybody's going to watch. Everybody's going to share. And it's going to be entertaining. And it's probably going to be more entertaining than the actual fight. But I think, what is it? Thriller, the company? Triller, right?
Triller, yeah.
Yeah, Triller. If it adds up to pay-per-view buys, they don't care. And Triller is owned by who? Jake Paul. So Jake Paul is he's gonna navigate this ship, man. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna pay attention to it just because, you know, I like build up to fights. Like even boxing, you know, when they first started to do those countdown shows like on HBO for like Floyd Mayweather, I used to watch all of those. And sometimes I didn't even watch the boxing fight, the actual fight. I just watched the build up, the countdowns, because they were so interesting. They they made them so well. And I hope they do that for these fights or this fight. I hope they make a countdown and then they show this countdown on YouTube or whatever, because I'll be watching those. I think it's gonna be fun to watch. But it's gonna be hard, man. But I'm not gonna change my mind. You remember when the fight was first announced and I said I'm gonna go with Jake Paul by knockout? I'm still gonna go with Jake Paul. But Jake Paul, he said he's gonna go train with Jorge Masvidal, and he's been training with elite boxers. I don't see why not. I don't see why he can't beat Ben Askren.
What about this? As the Blue Dash.
Yeah.
Blue Dash is saying here in the comments that Ben Askren is training with Anthony Pettis. Obviously, I spoke to Anthony Pettis in December, and he told me he was going to happily train Ben Askren for this fight. So hopefully we'll see some improvements. MD in the comments here as well. Hello, MD, saying Jake is picking the right fight, but if you practice MMA this long, you shouldn't lose to a YouTuber. I'm sorry, it would be an embarrassment. I don't know, John. It's all a bit tricky, isn't it? Because I was saying to you before we went on air, I just think Ben Askren is going to troll everyone and shoot and take Jake Paul down and then forfeit all the money. And it's all like a complete joke. But you don't think that's going to happen? You think it's going to be serious?
I think it's going to be serious. I think Ben Askren is going to go out there and try to beat the hell out of this guy. And you know, a lot of people say Ben Askren is representing MMA. I don't think he's representing MMA. I think he's representing himself, and he's representing the paycheck that he's about to snatch up for fighting a YouTuber / celebrity / influencer turned boxer. Because the guy, if you watched his 2 professional boxing matches, Jake Paul, he's not a guy that's afraid to get punched. He's not a guy that has terrible footwork. The guy knows how to box. It might not be the highest level, but I'm pretty sure he could beat a lot of guys, a lot of celebrities, a lot of old timers if he stepped in there against them. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to overlook Jake Paul, and then they're going to overlook Ben Askren because of age, because of his body, because of his striking. But I think we're going to get a hell of a fight, to be honest with you. I think we're going to get a fight that's going to go into the later rounds. But I still believe Jake Paul's going to win. That's what I believe.
You want to see some of these clips from Ariel's show? You want to play them on here? Of course.
Let's look at these.
Okay. Let's have a little look. I do remember to press share audio this time, so that's a good start for me. Here we go. There's Ben. Let's see what Jake's saying first. All right. Here is
a lot of people were coming after you. You had a lot of suitors. You could have chosen a lot of people. Ultimately, why did you choose Ben Askren as your next opponent?
Yeah, we were talking about 5 or 6 guys, MMA fighters, some celebrities, an NFL guy. And when it came down to the ink meeting the paper and then being like green lighting this and being like, let's do this, these guys, it turned out a lot of them weren't as serious as we thought. I think people don't like to give me props for my boxing ability, but deep down they're like, damn, this kid can fight. And Ben Askren was really the only one who was serious about it and that wanted to make it happen and was ready to go. So kudos to him.
It did seem after the Nate Robinson fight.
I don't believe anything he says.
Yeah, I don't know. What about this one?
My speed will immediately, he's slow, you know, and my speed will immediately show, and he will be getting hit from every single angle, and there's not much he can do. And he has never had a boxing match, so it's different than MMA. You can't just when you're hurt, you can't just shoot your little takedown, Ben. Can't do that, buddy. Sorry.
He told me earlier today he predicts a 7th round TKO of you. What's your response to that?
My response is go Google Ben Askren striking. You know, it's not gonna go that long.
And then one more from Ben Askren. What's Ben saying?
Is a little boy. He is some rich celebrity who wants to pretend he is a fighter by fighting guys who are really bad. I mean, Jake, what's that last basketball player's name? You know,
Nate
basketball.
Robinson.
Thank you, Nate Robinson. And the other jabroni he fought. I never watched that fight. I watched it last night. It was really bad. Really, really. It was not good, Errol. Like, you might have done just as well as that guy.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Ariel. Hope you didn't mind us using the clips from your show.
You know what comes to my mind right now is that when you look at Ben Askren, right, he was dominant Bellator champion. He was a one championship dominant champion. He goes with the UFC, wins, but controversially loses, or finished, right, every time. And if he goes and loses this boxing match against Jake Paul, has he had the worst fall from grace ever in mixed martial arts?
Ben Askren?
Yes.
I don't know. If he loses to Jake Paul?
Yes.
But it's a boxing match, so
it's still fighting, though. You know, of course, it's a different sport, but it's still fighting.
Well,
you know?
What weight are these guys? I mean,
Ben Askren was fighting at 170, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think what's his name? Jake Paul, I've heard the weight of 185 around there, and maybe even bigger. So he could be bigger and more in shape when he heads into that. Because when they take their shirts off, it's, you know, you could tell. And are they getting drug tested? You know, Ben Askren's not taking anything. Or is he gonna take anything? If I was him, I would. I would take something, right? If you're not getting tested, why not? You know what I mean? It's a boxing match. Take something. You know, you're giving up like what, 20 years in age too. So that, I don't know. But I'm not suggesting that taking drugs is good, but I'm just saying it's
what the fuck is Chris saying here?
What is it? Don't diss
Anna Songib. I don't know what that means.
Who the hell is Anna Songib? Is he drunk?
He might be.
Anyways,
Chris says you're taking away his biggest talent. That's like asking, would Adesanya beat Ryan Hall at BJJ? Nathan Green says Askren has horrible hands. Yeah, that's what Jake Paul was just saying. Google Ben Askren striking, he said. So Blue Dash is back here. Jake Paul said they'll likely be fighting at a catchweight 190 or something along the lines of that. Chris is back explaining that Anna Songib is the YouTuber that Jake Paul fought. Get into your YouTube, guys. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was KSI, or was that Logan Paul?
Yeah, that's Logan Paul.
All right. Sorry. I don't know.
But yeah, but you know, you're just as good as me on who these guys fought. I just know what they did recently, right? What Jake Paul did recently. I watched that that was a demolition. Like he demolished Nate Robinson. And Nate Robinson is that athlete, like an athlete for his whole life pretty much. But being an athlete doesn't translate over to being a great fighter either. It showed. Nate Robinson showed you he was flatlined. And the thing is this fight is going to get a lot of press. It's going to get a lot of attention. And that's what Jake Paul wants. That's what Ben Askren wants. It's going to get a lot of money. And that's what they both want. They want money. But leaving a legacy, leaving like a stamp with your career, it's like, why would Ben Askren try risk this? You know what I mean? Does he know something we don't know? That he's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to win? Or will this never even happen? Will they just promote something and then they would never fight? That's all things that are running through my mind right now. Like, why didn't he fight Anderson Silva? Why didn't he box Anderson Silva? I'm guaranteeing you, Anderson Silva is out there. He's a free agent. He wants to box. Why didn't Jake Paul challenge Anderson Silva? That's a question for me. You know what I mean? Like, why are you picking on Ben Askren? Why are you picking on Dylan Dennis? The reason why, we know. We just discussed earlier. Because of what he sees as an opportunity, right? And that's going to suck for Ben Askren. Hopefully he wins, but my mind is telling me that it's not going to happen. Because you know what? Jake Paul is going to dance around him, get him tired, and then I told you he's going to finish him in the later rounds. Kind of like I'm predicting 7th round knockout by Jake Paul instead of 7th round knockout by Ben and Askren. Man, it's a weird matchup, but man, we just spent the first 20 minutes talking about this. Let's move on to something.
All right. Yeah.
That's actually
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for all your comments and interaction, guys.
There's a
good to
question up
see you.
here about from Blue Dash, I think, talking about something else in the top. Oh, MD.
MD
Yeah.
about Vettori and Till.
Yeah. No, Costa and Whittaker.
All right, let's go all the way back up. Okay, yeah, let us know where you're watching, everyone. Give us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Get involved in the chat. Tell us where you are. Good to see you all. Let's go to that first question from MD. Yeah, how does the Costa versus Whittaker fight play out? And do you all think this is a #1 contender fight? Well, it has to be, John, doesn't it? It simply has to be, because Robert Whittaker, what more can Bobby Knuckles do? I think it's just stalling, isn't it? Because Adesanya is going up to fight Jan Blachowicz. Whittaker has dispatched Cannonier. He's dispatched everyone they put in front of him. I think they're just biding their time. If he beats Costa, I think they're waiting to see what Adesanya does. Maybe Adesanya vacates that belt and then they can do what they want in that division. I don't know. What do you think happens?
First of all, it has to be a #1 contender fight. Of course, right? That's clear. Costa's coming off the title loss to Adesanya. Whittaker is probably the best fighter in the middleweight division next to Adesanya, who he lost to. And if you look at the rankings in the middleweight division, Robert Whittaker is #1, Paulo Costa's #2. So of course it's going to be the #1 contenders fight. You got Cannonier, you got Till. Cannonier's #3, Whittaker beat him. Till, he's #4, Whittaker beat him. Paulo Costa hasn't beaten either of those guys. So in some ways, I'm thinking, why is Paulo Costa even fighting Robert Whittaker? If he does, it shouldn't even be for a #1 contender. It should be for interim title. You know, a lot of times people are like, there shouldn't be interim titles. But when the champion, I feel like when the champion of the division is going to another weight class to fight for the title, I think that gives a little leeway to introduce an interim title, because you never know what happens after he, maybe if he goes up and wins. Normally you see guys, when they go up and win, they stay at that weight class, right? Like DC. Remember when DC won the heavyweight title? He stayed at the weight class. You know what I mean? You know, stuff like that. So I think that this should be a #1 contender. And the question was, how do you see this playing out? I see Robert Whittaker dancing like he's on Dancing with the Stars. All around Paulo Costa. You know, Paulo Costa,
Yeah.
he has been, I don't know if he's been exposed, but he has, you know, Adesanya showed you some things, some chinks in the armor. No racist connotation there. I'm allowed to say
Oh
it.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. Nathan Green here saying he beat Romero twice and his wrestling's on point. Sveta Rose, hello Sveta, saying hello, I'm watching from Hong Kong.
Who is that?
We love Hong Kong. Sveta, glad you're watching.
Is he from the Fanatics?
No. This is not a guy, it's a girl.
Oh, it's a girl? Oh, what's up, Sveta?
Yeah, nice to see you watching. Hope you're enjoying the show, Sveta.
Yeah.
We got some other. Chris is here saying who has Costa and who has Whittaker. Winner of Till versus Vettori. Yeah, this is another question here we got from MD. I think it was talking about who do you got, Vettori or Till? That's a blue dash. Sorry, I cannot wait to see this fight. I cannot see this fight being anything but a banger. Yeah, how does that one play out, John?
I'll early pick. I'll take Vettori in this fight. I feel like Vettori is a guy that would stick his forehead into Till's chest and then fight him real close and bang it out. And you know, you've seen it. You've seen Till get knocked out clean. Who knocked him out? Masvidal. You know what I mean? Like Vettori, I think he'll go in there and knock out Till. I feel like Till hasn't shown us much, man, at middleweight, and Vettori is a monster, dude. Like people need to stop sleeping on Vettori. Like he showed you in the Hermanson fight, he could stand there for 25 minutes and bang it out and take shots, hard shots, and still move forward and just pummel you and pummel you and pummel you. And I feel like he's gonna do that to Till too. Till is coming off injuries. He's been off for so long. I'm rolling with Vettori in this one. Vettori, he is just watching him and just his swagger. I feel like he has so much confidence in every fight he goes into. And I really wanted to see Vettori versus Robert Whittaker. I felt like that would have been a better fight. Even Vettori versus Paulo Costa. I feel like those fights made more sense than him taking on Till. Till should be fighting a Cannonier, or he should be fighting, you know, someone else like a Brunson. He should be fighting a Holland, or you know, or even a Weidman. I don't understand why they keep pushing this guy. Who did he beat to be ranked number 4?
It's because he's a Scouser. You can ask Chris. He's from the land of the Scousers.
Who did he beat to be ranked number 4? Like
I
I don't
thought
understand.
he's the new. I love Darren Till. I like Karen Till even more. But I
Karen
think
Till, of course, he's a great fighter. He's fun. He's entertaining. But who did he beat to be number 4, ranked number 4 in the middleweight division?
Kelvin Gastelum.
Someone explain that to me. Kelvin Gastelum? When was that?
2019 December or November at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, on the Masvidal Nate Diaz card. Co-main
Kelvin
event.
Gastelum is ranked number 9 right now, right?
Gastelum's had a bad time since then. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a bad time since then. So it's you know, nothing against Gastelum. He's a great fighter too. But Till, he beat Gastelum. Does that put you at number 4 in the division? That's how many fights has he had at middleweight? He's had 2. He beat Gastelum and he lost to Whittaker. And he was dominated by Whittaker. That fight wasn't even close. That makes you rank number 4? That doesn't make any sense to me. And him getting that push by the UFC, I'm happy for him. He's getting the push, but I feel like Vettori is a bad matchup. He should have just went and rebooked the Hermanson fight. That's a little, I feel like that fight is a little bit more even. But Vettori, man, he's coming. He's a threat to everybody, to Whittaker, to Costa. A lot of people are not talking about him, but you better be talking about it. You better jump on that train with Vettori, because if you don't, he'll tell you why he should be, you know, he should be fighting the best guys in the world. But yeah, like
comments are kind of split here. We got Leandro is saying Till is overrated. Blue Dash saying Vettori is so tough, man. Of course, Chris is back in his Scouser, fellow Scouse man from Liverpool. Till all day. Till by decision, saying Chris. Till only got knocked out because he was dehydrated. Nathan Green saying, if you want to talk about middleweights, Kevin Holland, Blue Dash again. Vettori is by far one of the most overlooked middleweights. Straight disrespect that he's not in the UFC game. I'm sure he'll be added in. They added in Yuri Prochazka the other day, and Yuri's had one fight, so I'm sure Marvin will get in there. Till beat Kelvin Gastelum, says Blue Dash. That was it. Yeah, Gastelum by one of the most boring fights I've ever watched, says Leandro. Yeah, a lot of hate for. I don't know. The comments. What do we make of this? Chris, get out of here with you. You never walk alone. None of
Isn't
that.
that the song?
That's the song. It's
Oh.
you'll never drive alone if you're Darren Till with your. I don't know. I'm trying to. Karen Till. Just
Karen,
yeah.
I love Karen Till. Darren Till, the fighter, shouldn't be fighting Vettori. Well, if I'm not saying he shouldn't be fighting Vettori, he should definitely be fighting Vettori. But I feel like he should have got a different matchup. I don't think Vettori. I feel Vettori deserves someone higher ranked than Till. Till's number at 4 is an illusion, man. Till should be fighting Kevin Holland. I know Kevin Holland has a fight. Or I think he's fighting Brunson now, right? But I think Kevin Holland, even like why did they just put him against Weidman? You know what I mean? Maybe Weidman has a fight already, but still, why did they just put him against a Weidman? Why they gotta push him towards Vettori? That's a hard fight, man. And Chris, he's talking about Whittaker. They went 5 rounds. Why are you bringing up the judges? Like the judges matter. Judges don't matter to us. What matters is what we thought about the fight, right? If you want to come on here and talk about the judges, Chris, hop on, man. We're waiting for you. Open arms.
Chris is too busy cooking dinner.
Hey,
That's what he said to me.
well, it doesn't seem like he's too busy because he's typing all those words. But what we got here next? Vettori wins. Do you think he deserves a title shot after, or should he have another fight before that? You think the thing about it is, could you get a title shot off beating Darren Till? No. You know why? Because Whittaker didn't get one. So why would Vettori get one? Does that make sense?
That makes. Sorry, I got 2 gherkins in my mouth, so I was hoping
Oh my God.
finish that sentence yourself.
We're going to make a clip of that. That's a clip right there. He's got
I thought I
2.
could get away with that.
Oh,
I'm hungry.
God.
I haven't had dinner. I'm not cooking like Chris, so I gotta eat out of a jar. So
Yeah, he's got 2 gherkins in his mouth and he's eating out of a jar. So that's Henry Ford is back in the house. Come on. We've been
Henry
looking
Ford.
for you.
Yeah, what's up, Henry? Win-win for UFC. If Vettori wins, UFC can promote them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like they've been under promoting Vettori. They need to push him a little bit harder. You know, he's an Italian. He represents hardcore for the Italians. You know, it seems like Europe, right? It's wide open. And both these guys are Europeans. Push him hard, man. I'm enjoying that. But going back to the fight, early prediction would be me looking at their last performances and kind of like what they have been through the last year or so. I would go in and say that Vettori is the favorite to win that fight. And Vettori is going to be, I don't know if he would be a dark horse, but he's a guy that people are overlooking. But most likely by the end of 2021, we're going to be talking about Vettori as one of the title contenders. I think that's very clear.
Absolutely agree with you. I think Vettori I would just give him the edge on that fight, but don't listen to me, John. I mean, I went 3-8 on my picks for UFC 257. I got 3 fights right. I had a shocking night. So depressing. Really, really bad. So I am not one to listen to, guys. But yeah, I have an inkling Vettori would not roll over at all for Darren Till. I think that would be a good fight anyway. Henry Ford. Till has got the golden goose treatment, got the golden path to the top. Yeah, John. He did a little bit, didn't he? He was kind of pushed to the moon. They gave him that fight against Wonder Boy, and that was pretty close, wasn't it? As soon as he got that win, I think he got the title shot against Woodley. was pretty outclassed there. And then it was, well, that's not my right weight. Going up to middleweight, beat Gastelum. And let's be fair, Gastelum had just come off fighting Adesanya, yeah, for the vacant interim belt, or not the vacant, but for the interim belt. So I can see why they made that fight, but do you feel Darren Till has been given favorable treatment and pushed a little bit? Maybe because they wanted to make a new McGregor because they had that fan base in Liverpool. And as you know, through Chris, there's some fervent MMA fans in Liverpool, huh?
Yeah, but the amount of people living in Liverpool is not that much, right? You need a whole country behind you, like if you want to Conor McGregor, right? And then
There's
you
quite
got
a lot of them there.
But Darren Till has lots of fans, not just in Liverpool, not in just the UK, but around the world. He has lots of fans. Has he been given favorable matchups? I don't think so. Has he been pushed? Yes. He's been pushed to the matchups that will get him closer to the title. And every time he's been pushed, what has happened?
Oh, you're asking me. He hasn't done too well.
He hasn't done too well, right? He did get the title shot at welterweight against Woodley, and Woodley submitted him. And when's the last time you saw Woodley submit somebody? Never. He never submits anybody, right? Goes up to middleweight. He has that fight with Gastelum. He beat Gastelum. Got to give him credit for that. And then the next fight out, he just gets outclassed by Whittaker, one of the best guys in the division. And I don't know. I'm just confused about the matchmaking and why they're doing these fights like this. But one thing that's good though, Vettori is gonna get a big name, and if he smashes Darren Till, he grows in popularity, which is good for Vettori. Maybe that's why they're doing it, because they're giving Vettori a shot. They're giving Vettori a chance to create a bigger name for himself by fighting Till. So we'll see what happens. It works either way. You know what I mean? Till wins, he gets the push. Vettori wins, he gets the push. And one of those guys will probably be fighting for a title. It all depends on who wins next. So maybe they're doing a mini tournament, Till versus Vettori and Costa versus Whittaker. Whoever wins those fights, they're going to fight each other for the interim title or for the number one contender spot. I think it all depends on what exactly happens in March when Adesanya faces Jan Blachowicz. If Jan Blachowicz wins, of course, Adesanya is going to go back down and fight whoever's the number one contender. If Adesanya wins, then what happens? Adesanya is going to stay at 205, or he's going to go up to heavyweight and fight John Jones, right? So the middleweight division, they have to move along. So I'm glad that they're moving along, though. Remember in featherweight division last year, nobody fought. Nobody wanted to fight each other, right? And just like there was a couple fights here and there, and who became the biggest star through that process was probably Calvin Kattar, because he fought more than anybody and grew his stardom, and he got that big fight against Max Holloway. Even though he lost, he proved himself and then went out there and faced a former champ and probably one of the greatest featherweights of all time. It's something that you need to experience. If you win, great. If you experience it and lose, that's even better. You go out, improve, come back even better. Calvin Kattar is going to be around for a long time. But going back to the middleweight division, I think that's what they're thinking is we're going to put these matchups together. If Adesanya wins, he's probably not going to go back to middleweight. So whoever wins between Costa and Whittaker faces the winner between Till and Vettori for the for the interim title, right? Because they don't really want to take away the title from Adesanya unless they have to, right? So I see that happening. Other than that, the other guys that are in the middleweight division, they're going to be climbing up the ranks too. You got Hall. He's fighting who's Hall fighting next? Oh, Weidman. Hall's fighting Weidman. That's a rematch. You got Derek Brunson facing Holland. Brunson's 7. Holland is 10. Weidman's 11. Hall is Holland is 10. Brunson is 7. Weidman is 11. And who's fighting Hall, who is 8. Hermansson's number 6. And he's probably still recovering from his fight against Vettori. Jared Cannonier, I feel like he's still recovering probably from his broken arm. So once those guys get healed up, those fights will be over with. They're going to probably match him up with whoever the winner is versus Hermansson. versus Jared Cannonier. So the division is going to move forward, and that's what I like to see. That the division they're continuing to fight, not just sitting back and holding their position. And we saw that during in the lightweight division too. Like, remember when Michael Chandler wanted to get a fight? Everybody didn't want to fight him, so they had to go all the way down the line to Dan Hooker, and he finally got a fight. So hopefully it works out, and by the middle of this year, we'll have a title fight in the middleweight division. Either it's Adesanya defending or an interim title.
Well, look about this from. Do you think Costa actually deserves to fight Robert Whittaker, John? Because there's an argument that Robert doesn't. The Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper, doesn't have to do anything. He's already proved himself. Is this more favorable to Costa? Do you think the UFC wants Costa to get in that picture? If Adesanya is going to go and win that light heavyweight title and vacate, do you think they want Costa to be the champ? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if they want Costa to be the champ. I'm
They
looking at it
they
as
don't like Whittaker, do they? I just think
they don't
Dana doesn't like
Whittaker
him.
too much. I don't think Dana. I think Dana is not. I don't think Dana doesn't like Whittaker. I think Dana, he's not the best for business. Whittaker is as a champ, and it's kind of like the situation Alex Volkanovski's in too, right? Because it seemed like they don't like Volkanovski being the champ really, and they both probably get that feeling from the UFC, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not making as much money for the company as the next guy, of course they're not going to treat you the same. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to beat the champ, right? So you have to dethrone the champ. You could do whatever you want, but you got to have a guy go in there and beat the champ, and it's going to be hard to dethrone what's his name, Volkanovski. He's a problem for a lot of guys. Stylistically, he's a problem, and the thing is there going to be an Adesanya to come through to dethrone Volkanovski, just like how Adesanya dethroned Robert Whittaker? It was almost like perfect for the UFC, the way that it all lined up. But yeah, Costa, I don't think it's a favorable matchup for Costa, because Costa could go in there and starch Whittaker with one punch. That can happen. There's no doubt in my mind that can happen. Does the UFC want Whittaker or Costa to be the champion? I don't know. I don't. Is he that popular? Probably in Brazil he is, but I don't know about anywhere else. But the guy that I feel like they want as champion, if Adesanya leaves, would be Darren Till. Don't you think so? Doesn't all the signs point to Darren Till would be like the champion that the UFC wants?
Yeah, it just goes back to what we were saying before, doesn't it? I mean, some people in the comments were saying that they think Till gets favorable treatment, shall I say. I don't know. I think they would love to have Till be the champion, but I don't think Till is at the risk of pissing off Darren Till. I don't think Till will be champion. I think Whittaker set the bar, and if Robert Whittaker beat him, he's not going to be champion. Till came very close, as Chris pointed out. It was 48-47 on a few of those scorecards. I'm sure Till would fancy himself to do better in a rematch, but I think if Adesanya vacates, Robert Whittaker is your champion for as long as Robert Whittaker wants to hang around the UFC. A few comments here. Brady, what's up, Brady? Saying that Whittaker pieces Costa. I don't disagree with you there. I do think Robert Whittaker will beat him. Blue Dash, a lot of people talking about Kevin Holland. Maybe he's the kind of dark horse in that division. What do you think, John, about Kevin Holland? Blue Dash saying, I think they might want Holland to be champ too, though of course he's nowhere near the rankings for that at the moment.
The thing about Holland is that Holland, he's a really good fighter, and he's made a name for himself in the last year with the performance that he has had, especially the Jacare knockout. That was one of the craziest knockouts of all time. Holland, I don't know if the UFC is too keen on him being the face of the middleweight division. He has to win all the fights, of course, and they're going to give him the opportunities moving up because they're giving him this fight against Brunson. But once he beats Brunson, I could see them giving him another fight, like maybe against Cannonier. he's gonna have to earn every way up, right, to become the champion. It's not like they're gonna give him the so-called Darren Till treatment. It's not gonna happen for him. But you never know. Holland is a master at what he does, and it's gonna be fun to watch him rise up the ranks. Even though we've been watching him the whole time, the whole year, and he did take out Jacare. So, but this is going to be the biggest test. We're going to see in this next fight for Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson if he's the real deal or not. That's what we're going to find out. Is Derek Brunson gonna halt the train, the hype train of Kevin Holland, or is Kevin Holland just going to run over him like a, like when they put the quarters on the train tracks? And then, once they run it over, the quarter becomes like as thin as a piece of paper. We're gonna see if Kevin Holland can do that to Derek Brunson. If he can, then hey, push him to the top.
Okay, I think there was a question earlier. We'll get to just to get out of the way from our man Henry Ford. Good to see you back, Henry. Or it might not be even a question; it might just be a comment, but maybe we can talk about that, John. I see people calling for Oliveira versus Poirier. That ship has sailed. Should have been Poirier versus Charles in the first place. After Chandler's performance in the co-main event, you have to do Dustin versus Chandler. Well, look, Dustin Poirier doesn't want Mike Chandler. He thinks Chandler's beneath him. He didn't say so much, but he didn't put it that crudely. But he seemed to intimate John Deeney that Michael Chandler needs to really earn that fight against him. It sounded like Dustin wants Conor or Nate or a title shot, because Conor and Nate, he gets a shitload of money, doesn't he? Dustin Poirier just pulled in, I think, $1 million plus pay-per-view points. So he's not going to go back and fight Charles, or he's not going to fight Michael Chandler for $200K, is he? He wants a serious fight, and he said a few months ago, "I'm on the back nine of my career. I've maybe got 5 big fights left in me." These are all big money fights he wants now, right? What do you see Dustin Poirier doing here, John?
He's making the right moves. He's already won the title. He's already beat the biggest names. He's already cemented himself, his legacy in the division, in the UFC. Now you just got to go out there and secure the bag. Secure
Get the bag.
the rest. Yeah, get
That
the
is
bag.
what John always says, everyone, get the bag.
Exactly. And you got to do it. You got to get the bag. You got to get multiple bags, because you don't know how much longer you're going to fight. And if Poirier could get 2 or 3 more fights, 2 or 3 big fights, I think he might be done after that. If he gets the Nate fight, that's a big fight. If he gets the McGregor trilogy, that's a big fight. Or he gets the Khabib rematch, another big fight. But the thing is, a Chandler versus Poirier fight is not out of the question. You know why? Is because let's say Khabib is retired, then I feel like the UFC, they have to put Chandler versus Poirier for the title, for the vacant title. That only makes sense. You know what I mean? It was like a mini tournament, like they said. And if you don't do that, then who are you going to pit there? Of course, they're talking about Charlie Olives, right? And of course, he deserves it. But I don't see the UFC giving Charlie Olives a title shot right now, even though he deserves it, clearly. But I don't see the UFC doing that. I see the UFC pitting him against somebody. And if he does win that next fight, then I can see him getting a title shot. But
Who does Charlie Olives fight, realistically? Gaethje?
If Dustin goes and fights, let's say, like Nate Diaz, right? Maybe that's the big fight that they're talking about. Then I can see Chandler fighting Charlie Olives, right? Chandler versus Charlie, right? That could happen. And or Gaethje, right? Gaethje would be a crazy matchup. Even Charlie Olives versus Nate Diaz would be a great matchup too. You know what I mean? It just depends. But I don't think he's gonna get a title shot. I don't think it's gonna happen for him, even though he deserves it. I see it's gonna be either Poirier. This is how I see it, okay? Poirier, either he fights the trilogy versus McGregor, and they're gonna put the title on it because Khabib is completely retired. He lets go of the belt. Dana White can't convince him to do anything, and he's gonna give up, and he's like, okay, the lightweight title is up for grabs now. We need to make a fight. I could see them doing McGregor versus Poirier 3, the trilogy for the title. It's 1-1. They could sell it. McGregor will come out as the dark McGregor again. Like, he's gonna come out, you know what I mean, just guns a blazing, promoting it like crazy. I can see that happening. Or I could see Dustin versus Chandler for the title too, right? That could be a possibility. I see Dustin, he deserves another shot, another crack at that title. And he's the name that's always going to be a constant there for that belt. Other than that, I don't see any other fights happening for the title. No one else is deserving, right? It is what it is, man. No one else is deserving. It's Dustin versus Conor. Even though Conor lost to Dustin, it doesn't matter. This is the UFC machine. And the other guy on the flip side will be Chandler. Maybe he's the backup. I don't know, but I see that happening. But do Bronx, I love that guy. I love his fighting, but like Henry Ford said, the UFC is stuck between business and sport as usual. That's a great quote right there, Henry Ford.
Yeah. Henry Ford, I'll get through a few of these comments here. Sorry, from everyone in the chat. Henry Ford also said you could do Chandler versus Oliveira for the title, and if Dustin wants to fight, he can have Nate Diaz. Jim 102, what's up, Jim? Saying Dustin versus Nate makes no sense. Yeah, I agree. Blue Dash saying I think Dustin smokes Nate. Not gonna lie. Henry again. I don't see how they could do Diaz v Dustin for the belt. Diaz is coming off a loss, hasn't won since Pettis a couple of years ago. Nathan Green. I just think Dustin needs to hold the title to get the coin. I'd rather see Dustin versus the Bronx, Chandler versus Gaethje, Conor versus Diaz. I guess that Dustin versus the Bronx or Chandler, Conor and Gaethje both in a loss. UFC stuck between business and sport, as we just said. It's crazy, isn't it? A lot of people are very opinionated on this. I like to see it, though. Nate Diaz always brings opinion. It's good. I can see the posters now. Mac will check those kicks. Dustin Mac 3.
Exactly. They're going to promote that too, right? They're going to promote how the first fight went down and how the second fight went down. And checking the kicks will be a big issue. And there's a lot of stuff. I only see 2 fights for McGregor if he continues to fight in the UFC. I'm talking about UFC only. I'm not talking about boxing or nothing like that, because he could go over there and do that, but I'm not talking about that. In the UFC, in the lightweight division, there's only 2 fights that McGregor can take. 2 fights that will sell, which is both of them are trilogies. The Nate Diaz trilogy or the Poirier trilogy. I don't see any other fight being a possibility right now. Khabib's not going to fight him. And why would Chandler fight him? It wouldn't be worth anything unless he's going for a money grab. But I don't think McGregor would take a chance against Chandler. The best matchup for him is against Nate Diaz. I feel like that is going to probably be what the next fight for McGregor. If he does come back at 155, it'll be the trilogy versus Nate, because a lot of the guys in the lightweight division, they have surpassed Conor. Dustin basically proved that, right? Dustin basically proved that Conor is steps behind a lot of these lightweights. Even though Conor has the left hand, but Dustin ate the left hand multiple times and wasn't even like close to being fully rocked. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, man, I think Nate Diaz is going to be the one that Conor is going to be chasing after. Unless they put the title up against Dustin, then you get that trilogy.
All right, well, there's some other questions in the chat, so we'll try and move on from the Conor talk. MD asking, how does the Ortega-Volkanovski matchup play out?
Man, that is going to be an interesting fight right there.
By the way, can I just throw this in first?
Yeah.
Did you see this interview, John, in Korea where Zombie said he gained 20 kilograms because he couldn't stop himself eating? Yeah, he ate. He's like me. Just the other month I put on so much weight because he was so depressed after his loss to Ortega. He just binge ate and binge ate and binge ate, and then he said he blacked out as well after the fight. he couldn't remember the third, fourth, or fifth rounds. Just
Yeah,
this is
because of
what-
the spinning elbow.
yeah, crazy though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that a while back about the spinning elbow after it landed. He was on autopilot. He didn't remember much of the rest of the fight. That just shows you how incredible he is. That he was on autopilot and he was in there with Ortega, just taking damage and fighting and pressing forward, just on like autopilot, right? Just moving like it was like a remote control. Somebody was controlling him, and the binge eating thing is one thing I know is like he does go up to the 80 kilogram area when he's not fighting. So I could see that happening. You know, what I mean, him binging, and because think about it, what is featherweight? 66 kg, right? So he drops down to 66, getting back up to 86 kg. I don't think it would be that difficult task if he continues to eat and binge eat, because a lot of us
Yeah.
have probably done that before.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But okay, Ortega Volkanovski, how's that play out?
This is an interesting fight because if we're talking about Ortega before he fought the zombie, then we would be thinking like, Volkanovski, he's gonna dominate this fight. You know what I mean? He's, Max pretty much exposed him. But the funny thing is, people say Max exposed Ortega, right? But then his next fight comes out and dominates. So was he exposed? Because usually when you're exposed, the other people that are coming up after the other guy that beat you, they usually implement the same style of game plan, right? But then Ortega flips the script and comes out brand new, and he's a completely different fighter now. So that's why this fight is intriguing, because of that. Because he flipped the script, he changed it up. He has new coaches. Everything is different. His diet is on point, and he's coming in probably the best Ortega we're gonna ever see, or we're gonna see one of the best, versions of Ortega against Volkanovski. But one thing about Volkanovski is, and if you watch, do you ever watch BJJ Scout, the YouTube channel?
No, just
No?
this comment in the
Long comment?
I
What
don't
is
know
that?
what's going-
Okay, anyways, what is it? Damn, what is that?
I think Nathan, you got inheritance coming your way, Nathan, from this kind person.
Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. But go back to the Volkanovski Ortega fight, man. I don't know. It's just hard to say right now, but you got to look at Volkanovski. He's proven that he can fight against many different styles and win. He's just a winner. And with Ortega, both sides, they have great coaches, they have great teams, great supporting cast. It's going to be a hell of a fight, and I feel like it's not going to go to the decision. I feel like something has to give in this fight, and we're going to see every type of skill.
Oops, sorry, I disappeared.
We're going to see every type of skill out of these two in this fight. I think it's going to be one of the best fights we're going to see this year. No doubt. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Ortega versus Volkanovski.
Well, there was
can't wait.
another question. I can't remember who asked it. Asking who? Yeah, here you go. MD Bantamweight King at the end of the year. Who's the champ, John? When 2021 is all said and done.
I think Pretty Yon will probably still be the champ when 2021 is ended. That guy, he's just like his durability. Like if you don't submit him, I don't see anybody beating him. Because the guy is built for 5-round fights. He gets better each round. He builds momentum with the first round, the second round, and the third round. And then when he gets to that fourth round, like the guys, can they keep up with that pace? Can they keep up with that pressure? And I don't think many guys can do that. So what's the secret? This is my secret. I think you have to push Peter Yan in the beginning of the fight, and you have to have a great ground game, and you got to take him down and then try to take his back and try to choke him out, because you're not gonna beat him on strikes. You know what I mean? You could knock him down with strikes, but you're not going to beat him with strikes. So, and you got to have good hands. You got to have power. And with Sterling, he doesn't really have that power in his hands, that pop, but he's fast and he's squirrely and he could get you to the ground and choke you out. He showed it against Sandhagen. And I feel like that is going to be the game plan against Jan. But Jan most likely is going to be able to weather that. And I see him still being the champ.
Jan is an animal, says Nathan Green. MD raises a point. I think TJ might regain his crown. How do you think about TJ Dillashaw, John, former bantamweight champ?
I can't say anything about him because we haven't seen him fight yet. You know, we haven't seen him fight off of what is it? What was he taking?
EPO, the same as Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, we haven't seen him fight without the EPO, right? So we can't judge his abilities until we see him fight this year, at least one time. And I hope it's not going to be for the title. I don't think it's going to be for the title. I think he's going to fight somebody that's up there as a contender. And then we'll find out, is he the real deal or not? And I feel like the perfect opponent for him right now, it's Cody Garbrandt. It's Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah?
I think Cody Garbrandt is the perfect opponent for him at bantamweight. I don't know. I just feel like that's the best way. Because you know why? Is because Cody Garbrandt has been throwing all these allegations that he was juicing the whole time, right? And he got knocked out by TJ. So was it twice?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice,
but the
right?
first time he seemed to have Dillashaw. If the second round or the first round, had gone on a little longer, I think Cody was about to win that fight, but then Dillashaw came back. But the second fight was very, very one-sided for Dillashaw.
Exactly, right? But then Cody was saying that, you know, that was all on, you know, the PEDs. So let's get the free equal playing field. Now we know. Let's go in there, have them fight, see what Dillashaw's made of. I would love to see the build up to that. You know what I mean? Imagine Cody Garbrandt just going back off. Now we have evidence that he cheated. Imagine the promos that Cody Garbrandt can pull off with that. Just off that. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel Cody's kind of cooled off a little bit since then. And he's only fought since one. He's not been on a roll. He also wants to dip down to flyweight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still wants that title shot, doesn't he? He's been talking about that. Plus, he's also had COVID and he's had long-term symptoms from COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to see Cody Garbrandt fight right now until he's 100%. I don't even want to see Khamzat Chimaev fight because he's had to pull out of that fight against Leon Edwards twice because of long-term COVID symptoms. So I'm not happy if guys are fighting. And look, it takes a while to regain full fitness from that. As a football fan, Paul Pogba, who plays for Manchester United, he had COVID at the start of the season in September or around then. And it's January now, and he's only just really got back to full fitness, and that's about 4 months on. So let's see how that plays out. I think TJ, Jim 102 raises the point here. How about TJ against Jose Aldo, John? Do you like that? I would like to see TJ Dillashaw fight someone else first before they go back to that Garbrandt trilogy. I think the Garbrandt trilogy is cool, but I think let both guys build a little steam first to the point where we want to see it. And it would feel a little bit random to me to just go back to it straight away.
Yeah, well, that's just my thought, Nick. Why you got to piss on my parade?
I'm sorry. I don't want to piss on anyone's parade, man.
Go eat another pickle, man.
I've got 2 more, but I can't reach them at the bottom of the jar. I'm kind of doing that thing, where you're like trying to get in there.
Yeah.
I
better
got one.
drink it. Better drink it. There you go.
I got one out.
All right. Well, TJ
just pouring pickle juice everywhere.
I just like the beef aspect of TJ and Garbrandt, and they're not going to be cordial. They hate each other, and I like that real animosity, that real hate between these two, and Cody's
can't we all just be friends, John?
No, we can't. Not everybody's the United Nations, right? We gotta have some beef. Garbrandt, Dillashaw, what is it? Dillashaw versus Jose Aldo. That's also a good one too. Who Jim 102 he was saying. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
suggestion. That's a great fight. What's this other thing over here?
Do you think TJ used EPO for years? Asks MD. I kind of don't think so, or he hit it really well. Well, Garbrandt alleged that he'd been doing it for years, didn't he? Even when they were back in Team Alpha Male. And a lot of people said TJ had been doing it for years. And all I remember is when John Jones got let off a little bit, John, there was that thing in the USADA statement that's kind of hinted he ratted on someone and given sufficient evidence of someone else using drugs. And I always thought that was maybe how they found TJ Dillashaw, because it was about a month later that TJ got taken down. So I feel like it's probably an open secret. This is all conjecture. Sorry, I must point that out. I don't have any information, but maybe it was an open secret in the sport that TJ had been doing this for a while. That is. I'm just going based on that. I must make that clear on what Cody Garbrandt said. He said that he knew TJ, and everyone he said at Alpha Male knew TJ was using EPO for years. So if TJ was using drugs for years, I don't think he's the same fighter when he comes back, because you look at all those cyclists, man, and the Tour de France guys, when they came back, they weren't the same.
Yeah, with TJ using PEDs, right? And in particular EPO, because that's what he was busted for. I don't think he's been using EPO for years, because EPO is pretty expensive. You know what I mean? It's not a cheap performance enhancing drug. It's not cheap at all, right? And there's a whole protocol you have to go through to get all that stuff right and perfect for yourself. So, if he got caught, I don't know if he's been using it for years, but he was definitely using it against Henry Cejudo. And before that, you don't know what kind of PEDs that he was using, right? You don't know if it was EPO or something else. But there are accusations even before he got busted that he was using stuff. So I guess it's all true, man. Do we think he used it for years? It's hard to say, but he said he didn't, and he just used it for that fight. So I guess you got to kind of trust him on his word. But the thing is, they've been testing him for a while, right? So they could go back and test his samples from years back. So you never know. One day we might hear something from USADA like, okay, we just tested TJ's sample from the Cody Garbrandt second fight and we found something. They could do that. And then now it's like, okay, we definitely have proof. But before we have proof, it's hard to say. Yeah, that's it.
All right, man. Just looking. I've been blowing up on Twitter today, John.
For what?
See this
the Mongolian murder?
Mongolian murder. I got 78 likes, 84 likes, and 22 retweets. I never get these numbers. I'm putting up big numbers today. You think that's just because of Mongolian murderer?
Yes, I think that's a big part of it.
Oh man.
I mean, hey, you gotta get
my editor was like, that guy needs to change his name immediately. And then
it doesn't matter. It's out there. Now he has
the first comment, I think, was from Tan Nguyen, who's one of the people who watches these shows. What's up, Tan? Says, yeah, needs to change his nickname. And then there was a little bit of a debate there. Yeah, where'd you draw the line? I don't know. It's MMA, isn't it? It's like whatever.
You have to keep it as long as you can, right? You have to keep your name as long as you can. If
they didn't mention it in the press release, so these nicknames were just on their typology. So maybe they're already gonna not go with the Mongolian murderer, but it's a pretty gangster name. I like it.
The Mongolian murderer. Maybe you should change it to like the Mongolian Muppet. They're Karen Till like that.
Karen Till like that.
Like that. And then the Chinese girl has the Karen Till haircut.
Yeah.
She does, right? She does. That's the exact same haircut.
Oh boy. indeed.
Oh, hey, can we get
Uh,
into that article? Can you open that up?
Oh yeah, sure.
Tell us some some details on that.
All right, let's have a little look.
Have a little look,
So
yeah.
yeah, they the second and third academy graduates from the Shanghai Performance Institute after Alateng Lee, the Mongolian knight. So it's paying dividends, John, isn't it? The state-of-the-art facilities over in Shanghai, I think 93,000 square foot it is. 13 million US dollars or something it cost to build. Crazy, crazy, awesome facilities. I think we both know people who have trained there. Certainly Ramona Pasquale from Hong Kong, she was training over there. She has nothing but good things to say. But yeah, it looks like they're starting to pump out the talent. I mean, we saw Alateng, he lost to Casey Kenny, but he's more than held his own, though, I think, in that division, John. I think he's 2-1 in the UFC. It's starting to make, what am I trying to say? So, reap what they sow? I don't know. You know what I mean? The stuff's happening. They're getting investment. They're making dividends on their investment. I don't know.
Those pickles got to your head, huh?
Yeah, those pickles, man. There's like too many pickles makes me a little bit loopy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying. They're producing, you know,
Producing,
they've invested, they're invested so much into developing talent. Now they're reaping the rewards of it.
That's it.
You know,
Reaping the rewards. Yeah.
investing their time and finding the top talent in China. And I'm excited to see both of these fighters debut in the UFC. I can't wait. You know, I mean, I can't wait to see what these the PI has like this special program, right? It's the academy, so they have a special way of developing talent and curating their skill sets and all kinds of stuff. And it's all the science that they have. They're using it there, and pretty much we've never seen that ever in MMA. We've never seen this ever in MMA. Not even the PI in the States have this. It's only in China.
Also, Sumu Derji into the flyweight rankings, guys. Number 14.
All right, perfect.
The Tibetan
Nice.
Eagle soaring high. Well done to
We need to
Sumu Derji.
get him on the show. Like, I don't understand how come we haven't got him yet. But
Yeah, I'm trying to get Uriah Faber because this guy's looking after all these Chinese fighters down at Alpha Male. He's helping them really fine tune. Even the Leech was there, right, this month, and Song Yadong's been there. Yan Xiaonan was there. Su Muderji has been there. So yeah, we'll try and get him on there. Jim, do you think we'll see a wave of great Mongolian MMA fighters one day? They dominate sumo, so maybe one day in MMA as well. Yeah, I heard about this. About the sumo. It's kind of, there's so many countries out there, John, that haven't yet discovered MMA, and it's scary to think when they do how they're going to translate that other athletic prowess they have into MMA. I mean, Israel Adesanya always talks about when Africa wakes up and realizes that, like, we're going to dominate, and then they already are. Like, you've got Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, two of the champions, and it's entirely possible. There's so many countries out there who don't even have MMA on the radar, who could just completely change the game, right? Maybe Mongolia is one of them.
it definitely is. Mongolia has a slew of tough fighters, strikers, wrestlers. We've seen them in one championship. We've seen them around here in regional promotions. Road FC has a few. They just haven't hit the international stage yet. But once they do, you're going to see some killers, man. There's some killers right now in one championship that are Mongolian. And I would like watching them fight. They're nasty, they're fearless, they're tenacious, and they are well-rounded too. That's what surprised me more than anything. I mean, this next generation of Mongolians are much more well-rounded and flashy. And I can't wait until they introduce them into the UFC, into the international stage. And we're going to see a lot of fighters come out of Mongolia. China is going to be insane, I think. Once they start to kind of grow the sport a little bit more to like a casual level, especially for the UFC. I think a lot of fighters that are like in the real rural areas of the country might just get a ticket to Shanghai and sit in the front door of the PI until someone lets them in to train. It might become to that level, where it's just they're just gonna try to do a walk on. You ever heard of football, like in college? Like you got these guys that they're not invited, but they walk on and they try out and they make the
Oh
team.
yeah,
I can
yeah,
see that.
okay. Yeah, it could
I can
happen.
see it happen. Yeah. So
All right. What about this from Nathan asking? What about the All China strawweight belt fight? So Zhang Weili, Yan Jianan. That's not next, right? We gotta go to Rose first. But if let's say Zhang Weili beats Rose, do you go to Yan Jianan next, or does Yan have to get through someone like Joanna Jędrzejczyk first?
I think she will have to fight someone. I don't see that All China title fight happening anytime soon. There's got to be Weili has to fight somebody. She has to defend it and win. And then Yan will fight somebody for the number one contender spot. And she has to win. So there's a lot of factors that need to play out in favor of the Chinese fighters for them to get an all China title fight. It definitely can happen, right? Both of those are killers. And I would love to see it happen. And even like I've spoken with the strength and conditioning coach for Wei Li and Yan, and he's basically the strength and conditioning coach to all the Chinese fighters outside of the PI. And he even said they'll fight each other. They're teammates, but they'll fight each other. They're competitors. So it's going to be a great fight. But yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I feel like if it does happen, it'll probably happen at the end of this year or even maybe in 2022, which sounds weird.
Yeah, I mean, as MD says here, they would make so much money if they made that in China. I think they'd
don't
break
know.
China, wouldn't they? I mean, if you believe the numbers that come out in terms of social media metrics, that could break
Good
the
morning,
internet.
Vietnam.
Oh, okay. That's for Eddie the Blasian. What's up, Eddie? Good morning. Wherever
Eddie,
in the world you are.
So, like, you're black and Asian. So, what Asian are you? That's something interests me. I would
Yeah,
like
put
to
it in
know.
the comments. Let us know, Eddie. Any other questions? Get them in, guys. We got about 10 minutes more. I don't know if you've all put some.
Come on, guys. 12 minutes. We'll put you on the clock. Let's see what we got. Did we skip any
Yeah.
questions?
Here's a comment from Waleed, just going back to TJ Dillashaw. Waleed is saying that USADA tested Dillashaw's old samples and confirmed he didn't use EPO in his old fights. There you go. It was just
Waleed.
so who knows?
Appreciate
Thanks
that,
for the
man.
hookup. Yeah,
Appreciate
keep us
that.
on our
Yeah.
toes.
Oh, we
But
didn't say
where
nothing
did you
stupid.
hear that? Yeah, I hope TJ's not watching. Gonna sue us.
Oh, we didn't say anything. You know what I mean? That he was using or anything
Yeah.
like that. So it was just,
Allegedly. Allegedly.
That's the magic word in America. Allegedly. So you don't get sued. Have you watched you're not from America, but America is like if you watch American TV, there's always commercials for lawyers that will help you sue people for stupid things. And it's all these commercials for it. So it's you gotta go sometime and just see the ridiculousness of that.
I mean, I imagine it's all like Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul.
Exactly.
It just must be a living thing over there in America.
People suing
Why
everybody.
Why does everyone want to sue everyone? What's the point?
I have no idea. Who do you guys think is the guy who watched 2021?
Yeah, Nathan. Who's the guy and the girl to watch in 2021? You start, John. I'll have a think of mine.
I have no idea who to watch in 2021. People to watch in 2022 or 2020. The same people you've been watching in 2020 are going to be the same people you're going to continue watching in 2021. The guys that are just cracking the top 15 or the guys that are just cracking the top 5. Those are the ones you're going to want to watch. I don't know exactly who to watch. I don't see anybody like rising up and surprising everybody by winning the title. I would say watch Khamzat Chimaev. Whatever he's doing, everybody's watching, so you should probably watch him. You got Kevin Holland. You got Vettori in the middleweight division. I think the flyweight division is important. A guy to watch. I got one. Manel Cape. Manel Cape, a guy that could fight at bantamweight, but he's gonna make his UFC debut at flyweight, and he's gonna fight Davison Figueiredo in his debut, promotional debut. That's a guy to watch. If he can get past what not Figueiredo, Pantoja. He's fighting Pantoja. If he can get past Pantoja and finish Pantoja, then you know he's the real deal. Then you know he's gonna get maybe a title shot off after that, because he's a guy that's coming in as a champ from Ryzen, a lot of hype, great skill set, can talk all day, every day. You know what I mean? And he can promote that division like no other. I think if he beats Pantoja, they're gonna put him in the title mix, or you give him a title shot automatically. And he could be a champion by the end of 2021. Who knows? But that's a guy to watch. I think that's one fighter. For a woman, oh man, it's hard to say who we should. Miranda Maverick, flyweight. She's going to fight Jillian Robinson in a couple of weeks. That's her second fight in the UFC. Miranda Maverick, she's new to a lot of people, but she's been grinding. She's been fighting and in Invicta for years, and she's been doing it since I think she was a teenager. So, and she's only 23, I think, right now, man. But she's a firecracker. You need to watch her. Yeah, those are the ones. Miranda Maverick. That's the ones I could think of right now.
Eddie Blasian says Kevin Holland. Sean O'Malley says MD. Yep, see if Sean comes back. Sean Daniel Brady says Henry Ford.
Sean Brady.
Yeah, Daniel Edwards agrees with you. Manel Cape was replacement for the title fight, so I think they think highly of him. What about this? We got another question from Waleed. Does Carla Esparza deserve the strawweight title shot? Marlon Rose, she's on a 4-fight win streak over top contenders. Former champ. I don't know. I think Rose, if Rose doesn't want it, sure, go to Carla, but I would go Rose first. You, John?
Yeah, Rose, you got to look at it like this. Carla has won a bunch of fights in a row against top contenders, but they haven't been the most exciting fights. And there's not a lot of hype surrounding Carla Esparza. There's a lot of hype surrounding Rose Namajunas. And when Rose was the champ, there was a lot more attention on Rose. There was a lot more tension on the division. And when you got a fighter like that, you want to push him to fight for the title as soon as possible. And with our Esparza is kind of like the backup. She's like the insurance policy. She's good enough. She's done enough to get the title shot. But if we could get the more popular, the more hyped fighter to fight for the title, and I feel like she deserves it too, Rose, they're going to push Rose in there into that spot. But, Carla, she knows she's going to slide in if she needs to. And the UFC doesn't have any problems with it, because eventually Carla will have to fight Rose if she beats Wei Li. And if Wei Li wins, that's even better for China and for the UFC and their invasion of China, so to say.
What about this? Oh yeah, Manon from last Wednesday's show. The French fighter. She looked really good, didn't she, John?
Yeah, she's a beast. She's been I saw her fighting in UAE Warriors, I think twice before she went to the UFC. She swarms. She's got straight punches, combinations, just a badass. And I enjoy watching her fight. I'm very keen on seeing her face somebody next that has somewhat of a name. I want to see her fight somebody. I think she could rise up the ranks real quick. Maybe by the end of the year, she probably will be ranked. I think she's that good.
All right, a couple of questions for you, John. I think not me. I don't know when this will happen. When is Du Ho Choi coming back? Ask Jim 102.
I don't know. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. He had some eye issues after his last fight. And, in his last fight, he broke his arm. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, right? like Duo Choi, he broke his arm during the Charles Jourdain fight.
I think
in the
I knew
first
because you
round.
showed me like the X-ray on the
Yeah,
night, but
in
maybe it
the first
wasn't
round.
too prominent.
Yeah. In the first round, he broke his arm and he continued fighting into the third until he got stopped, right? But yeah, he had that, and he had some like knee issues, and then something happened with his eyes. I think he had the same thing that the Korean Zombie was going through. So he had to have surgery on his eyes, and he was almost on the verge of retirement, but now he's back to training. But then he has the military stuff coming up, but then COVID is messing up that. So it's hard to say if we're gonna ever see him fight again, to be honest with you. I'll be very surprised if he fights in the next year or two.
What about this? Chris asking, when the Zombie retires, who will be the next big Korean torchbearer for Korean MMA in the UFC?
Nobody. There isn't nobody right now. There's too much to prove, you know. The Korean Zombie has set a high bar. You know, he's fought for the title. He's fought the best of the best in the division. He's beaten some of the best of the best in the division, and he's continued a high level of performance, right? Even if in his losses, you know what I mean? Like he's always been a guy that has pushed forward and brought the fight. So it's hard to say who would be the next one. There's a bunch of young Korean fighters right now that are locked into like contracts that should be in the UFC, but they're locked into contracts with Road, which sucks for them because Road hasn't had an event in more than a year. Maybe I think more than a year and a half now, probably. I don't know. I forget. But yeah, a lot of those fighters, they should let them go. Let them go to the UFC. Why are they letting them sit their primes out? Because they're being stingy. I have no idea why they're doing that. They're ruining people's careers by trying to keep them locked in. It just sucks, man. And that's what sucks about Korean MMA right now. So I don't know exactly.
That goes on in a lot of places. But Ryan Hall, when does he get a fight? Us Nathan
He has one.
Green. Does he?
He's fighting Dan Ige.
Is it locked in?
Dan Ige. Ryan Hall.
All right.
I don't
Well,
know the date, but
Nathan needs some leg locks in his life, or the UFC needs to sign Gary Tonin from one. I don't think Gary Tonin wants to go to UFC. I've talked to him a few times. The impression I get, he's not interested in it, or at least.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I remember him giving a very big interview in Japan once when he just said he hates America and he hates the UFC and he loves coming to Japan because he went on this big rant just saying, I love Asia because everyone's so polite and very respectful, and I fucking hate Americans. And yeah, maybe he doesn't want to fight in the UFC. I don't know. I think he has a good chance of winning a title in one. I think I really want to see that Tonin v. Tan Lee matchup. I think that's a really cool matchup, especially with Tan Lee training with Ryan Hall. So, he's going to be prepared for those leg locks. But that's one
thing I know. One thing I know is Martin Nguyen, he has a date for his return. I know.
Yeah, you have a fixed date.
Date.
He was saying like March or what?
No, he has a date like for his return. It's just who is going to be the opponent that's up in the air right now. They're figuring that out. So play that around with your head, what you can think of. But he has a date. There's a date set for his return. Just the opponent hasn't been figured out yet. So
I had Ongla the other day, and he said he's got a date roughly for April around then. And I think those boys like to be on the same card, don't they?
No, they're not going to be on the same card.
They don't like to be on the same card. They like to coach each other on different cards. Sorry.
So most likely they'll fight on different months, right? Either like one is April, one is March or something. Just throwing it out there. But
Eddie Nalani versus Kane, you guys watching live. Yeah, we'll be doing a companion. We won't have the media rights again, so we won't have the fights. You can see our beautiful faces in boxes on the screen like this, talking heads like the Brady Bunch. We'll be here. I don't know if you'll be joining us, John, but I'll be here. Leon should be here. Jasmine, Queen of the Picks. Chris Edwards Bailey usually joins us on a Friday. John drops in every now and then. We'll see.
Yeah.
Matchups this year that you want to see that haven't been made yet. They've made a bunch of great fights, haven't they, already in UFC? The next 3 months is stacked. I just saw a tweet earlier and it was like, holy shit. But I guess I want to see where John Jones lands. I think he'll get Stipe or Francis, right? What else? What other big fights can you think that haven't been made yet? I think every division is kind of sorted at the moment.
Yeah, because if you look at it, the lightweight division is up for grabs, right? But there's still big fights. Any fight that happens is going to be a big fight. Figueiredo's coming off a title win, so they're just figuring out who's going to be next for him. It could be the rematch with Moreno, or they could be waiting for the Pantoja Magnell Kate fight to see the result of that, to figure that out. Peter Yan's fighting Sterling. Volkanovski's fighting Ortega. Usman is fighting Burns. Adesanya is fighting Blakovic, and Stipe is fighting Ngannou. Amanda's fighting Megan Anderson. Wei Li is most likely going to fight Rose or Esparza. Valentina, there's no clear challenger for her. The fight that I want to see this year is Amanda versus Valentina Shevchenko, the third fight. I want to see that. I want to see them put that together one last time at bantamweight and just give Valentina another shot at it. You know what I mean? Because the second fight was so close.
I want to see. I think UFC we're pretty set. Maybe I can throw out some one matchups I want to see get made. Well, look, Eddie Alvarez is fighting Lapkus, so he's out. What do you do with Christian Lee now, John? I've got
Christian
some kind
Lee?
of feeling that I think they're setting him up to fight Shinya again.
What?
I swear,
Why would they
I'm
do
just because they were bigging up that Shinya beat a former title challenger in James Nakashima, who is welterweight title challenger. So I think they set that whole match up now, and it makes sense to me to get Shinya to leapfrog to the top of the pile in lightweight. Am I just reading too much into this? I can see that happening. And I actually think Shinya is. I still don't know what happened in that first fight. It's crazy. I think.
I think Christian Lee is gonna end up fighting either Nasty Yukin or Doggy.
There's no hype though for those fights.
Is there any hype for any of the fights though that Christian
They
Lee's
can
in?
hype. They can hype Christian against Shinya. They can hype it in Japan.
They could, but man, why would you put the champion against a guy that he already beat? And it's not like he has this like long winning streak where he was taking out all the contenders. It's just, I guess Shinya is the big name. And if you do it in Japan, of course that makes sense. I could understand that. But if they did it in like Singapore, it's just like, why would they do that?
Yeah, Daniel saying, I think the UFC wants to keep Valentina away from Amanda. Hard to market her as a GOAT once she takes another L. Yeah, I agree with Daniel. I don't think they'll ever go to that third fight there. I would rather see Wei Li, going up. Does that interest you, John? If she can fend off Rose, and then we'll see how that plays out.
Of course it interests me, but I think Valentina works Wei Li pretty easily. Both of them are strikers, but Shevchenko is just, I don't know, it's just much bigger, much stronger, and much more technical with her striking, to where even if she wanted to go all 5 rounds and just make it a kickboxing fight, she can and take a less amount of damage, right? And if Wei Li gets sloppy, I see Shevchenko possibly being able to finish her. So it's not a good idea, but the UFC, they want to do it. You could tell, because they're already putting the feelers out there from time to time. So we'll see what happens.
Who challenges Kyoji Horiguchi next in Ryzen? I mean,
In Rise,
we know that he's
it's
probably
hard to
going to do Archuleta, right?
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do that right off the bat, though. It's hard to say. It's hard to say if they're gonna do that right off the bat. I think that Kyoji could defend the title at least once before they put the Bellator belt or the Ryzen belt up for grabs. Yeah, it's just I think like there's a few guys. There's a few guys. One guy is Inoue. Inoue. Naoki Inoue is a guy he's on a winning streak. Possibly could fight for the title. Who's another guy that recently won? I'd have to go look back at the last New Year's Eve card, but yeah, Kyoji has a bunch of guys that he could fight in that division. He hasn't cleared it out, so and even the trilogy with what's his name, Kyle Sakura is up there too. Why not?
All right. Well, we have already done an hour and 36, so I guess we'll leave it there. Who's on the media show tomorrow? John asks. Chris.
Sean Madden. Sean Madden will be on the show tomorrow. He is one of the coaches at Team Elevation in Denver, Colorado. So we'll be having him and chatting with him and see what he's up to.
Cool. And I am planning on maybe live streaming. There's a press conference tonight with Eddie Alvarez and Demetrius Johnson, or a virtual media conference. So,
really?
Yeah, it's at 1 a.m. though, so it's in about 3 hours. So, gotta see if I've got the willpower to stay up, John.
What?
Yeah, but
Why would they?
I've got to figure out how to do Zoom. It's a global media call, so it's more for the US. But they asked if I can stream it, yet also ask questions at the same time. But I'm a technological simpleton. I don't know how to do both. So after we get off this call, I'm going to try and figure out how to stream Zoom into StreamYard. Anyway, it's not worked before when we tried it, did it?
But hey, before we bounce out, make sure you guys go and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Make sure you share it. You know, if you can share it on any social media, go follow us on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all right here. Right here. Wait, right here.
Oh wait, I moved it.
Right here.
That's the wrong one
right
again. There you go.
Right here. It's right here. It's weird. It's right here, right below us. Follow us there. Also, go and check out our group at Fanatics, the app. You guys can go download it on Google's Play Store or on the iTunes. Get involved with us. All these guys, they're putting up their picks. They're putting their chest out there. They're putting their heart out there, putting it on the sleeve, and you guys could battle with them and talk trash to them, even on the app, I believe. So go and download that thing. I think the link is right here below in the descriptions. Go and click that link. Go download the app, get involved, have fun, build that community, man. That's what we're doing. We want to build a community online for the guys that watch the UFC, watch One Championship. You could pick all of those fights on the app. So get involved, and I appreciate everybody that watches and comments and ask questions, man. You guys don't even know how much that means to me and Nick and everybody that's involved in SCMP. What is it? Yeah. So anyways, go check out my interviews. I got a bunch of them coming, and I got a bunch that I did in the past few days. Yes, Eddie the Blasian. We always appreciate everybody that comes on, that repeats. Oh, I think Eddie's Korean. He's half Korean.
Yeah,
He's gotta be.
Yeah, he's kind of hinted at it up in the comments there.
Like, you can't just be writing Korean on here if you don't know it, unless you Google translated it or something.
What does it say?
It says, "Have a good day."
Oh, cool. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, like John said, go download Fanatics. You can go to getfanatics.app. You can go to the App Store and get it there. It's very easy to sign up. You sign up with Google or your Apple ID, and then go search. You can just join our SCMP MMA group. Very easy. get involved. There's a chat group. We will be picking our live picks. I think tomorrow Chris and I will do a preview show for One Championship Unbreakable 2, the final picks of the month. We'll see if anyone can topple Jasmine. She's like a runaway leader in the group. So, I dropped from 5th to 38th after UFC 257. So, don't think there's any coming back from me in January, but I'll be back in February to take that crown. Yeah, looks like Eddie is Korean. There you go. Good to see, guys. As John said, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow in some form. I think I'll be around for John's show. It's going to be a good one. It's always a good one. But thank you very much, everyone, for interacting. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again next time.
Spoochies, boochies.